Well, here we are again. We're doing another review, and sadly, I'm doing it on Agarest Wars, or Record of Agarest Wars, I guess it would be. I don't even know where to start with this one. It was pretty bad. Well, I did get the naughty version, I guess it would be. It came with a mouse pad, the game. Here's a mouse pad with the 3D boobies, as it would be. Actually, and a pillowcase right here, and the pillowcase. Um, it was pretty bad. The items themselves aren't too bad. They're actually pretty good quality, and it's for the same price as a normal new game. I guess it would be like the $60 or whatever it is in the U.S. But yeah, the gameplay is very interesting. You pretty much not do anything the entire game if you actually did it right. There's actually an auto select button. Basically, you hit select, the game will play itself for you. You can do that actually in the cutscenes too. You just push start and it'll play it, the whole thing up for you. So you really don't have to even touch the controller at most points, other than move your guy on the map and buy some items here and there. Uh, the story is there. It's pretty cliche and pretty really badly written. You'll be doing things that you have no real reason to do it, and it's kind of like go here, do that, and you just pretty much everyone just accepts it and goes with it. Um, the characters are pretty cliche. Also, you get the do-gooder, the young girl that has powerful magic, stuff like that. The one thing I did like, which they didn't really flesh out that well, was that uh, each time you get to a certain point, you have or it gets to the end of the chapter or section of the game, you have a choice to um, impregnate one of the girls from the story that you're in, and that baby will become the next main character for that next section of the story, and it affects on which character does which. So if you have it do with the elf girl or uh, the mage or something, their characteristics will change, and so will the characters' looks. So it's kind of interesting, but it really doesn't do anything since you get all the attacks from the previous uh, generation, anyways. So it's kind of weird that way. Like, how would they have the same abilities? But otherwise, it's pretty lame for in terms of how the story is written and fleshed out between each section. Um, the one thing I did kind of like is actually how the battle system worked when you actually did play it and didn't do auto. It's pretty in depth enough that you can actually play it. So it does have its characteristics for it is for each attack. It's a no, it's a strategy RPG, so it's kind of slow paced in terms of that, but it's it's pretty interesting how you can do every attack and combine it if with different people if they uh, have special abilities that mix like if two characters have the same ability, they'll combine and do a stronger attack than just regular. But it's kind of weird, especially if they have it on auto. Pretty much the computer will just select one guy and just bash it with every attack they have. And it kind of defeats the purpose of having super attacks and just use it on one guy over and over again, even if he's dead, because you can overkill, as this would be. And even if the guy's dead, all the other characters will target him and basically use everything they have just on the one guy, even though they have nothing to do because he's dead. And there's like stronger guys way all around him. I don't know. It's really weird. So in that sense, sometimes you have to take over, but it pretty much can play by itself. The other thing was the graphics. The graphics are pretty bad. They're like PlayStation 1, if not earlier than that. Uh, they're so pixelated and you have no idea what you're looking at. The characters are really badly upscaled. There's certain parts where you have to explore for a level, so you have to move your character around actually in real time and walking around like a regular RPG. But you don't know where you're running at, and it took me at least 10 minutes to figure out I can actually jump which I couldn't figure out because it doesn't explain it unless you actually look in the instruction book, which is kind of stupid. Like I didn't even think about it. Uh, so you have to do that, and when you're running around, everything's so blah. Like you can't even tell what's a jump and what's not because everything's so mixed together in the colors, and you don't even know what you're doing half the time. So it's kind of badly done in that sense. The other part was the only thing I did like was actually the art style for the cut I guess the cut scenes or just the character select screens and all that. They do look pretty interesting, and the actual star art is pretty interesting. Like you can see on like there or the pillow. Um, it's nicely drawn. Characters have the actual detail and makes them interesting. Just the character actual personality is not very interesting, which is kind of sad because they do have a very good look to them. What was I going to say? The actual length is pretty long, even though it kind of drags out, and I pretty much forced myself to play through the whole thing. It's about like 20 to 30 hours, depending if you do everything in side quests and all that, which I barely did. Well, actually, I almost forced myself to do it because I didn't really want to play it anymore. Um, Trying to think of anything else there was. Oh yeah, the one thing about the cutscenes, which really, I don't know, was retarded. The one good example is I even showed somebody else is that during the cutscene there was a fire in the town or something, and like the town was burning down, and the fire graphic was on top of the text and the text box. You couldn't read it because like for the entire 10 minutes of dialogue, whatever it is pushing through it. I could not see anything. I had to squint through the fire, like just to kind of read it. So I don't know who was doing what when they played tested this thing, but it was retarded. Otherwise, I don't know. It's a very basic RPG Japan animation thing, but I don't know. And the whole naughty thing is very tame. You've probably seen more graphic stuff on the internet, just looking at through like a regular site like DeviantArt or anything like that. Uh, but otherwise, it's not really that appealed. I think kind of wish they went more with it and did more adult stuff than what it was because it's pretty lame. And I think it's yeah, it's actually rated teen, so that should give you an idea right off the top. Um, I don't know. Like I said, it was a pretty bad game. If you're looking for a mouse pad to show off to people because it's just there, it's actually pretty comfy. Actually, not sure about that. I use it currently, and the pillowcase is that's kind of I don't know if you want to sleep with a pillowcase, I guess, with the girl on it. Uh, it's for the same price, like I said. It's interesting in that sense because mouse pads are pretty expensive in terms of anime ones, and yeah, as I said, I just wouldn't recommend it to anybody unless you're really hard up for games and you want some kind of boring story or cliche story that you want to play through. That's about it. Kind of rambling on, so I'm not really sure where else to go or if I forgot anything. But otherwise, should give you an idea. Just to kind of avoid it unless you're really hard up for strategy RPGs or something. But anyway, other than that, have fun.